Howdy everybody, it's Amy here from Amy Sparkly Diamond Painting, and I have an exciting unboxing for you today. At least it's exciting to me. So if you're new to my channel, welcome in. I do mostly diamond painting, but also a lot of stamped cross stitch and counted cross stitch. And I do a lot of other crafts over on my Patreon channel, including knitting, crochet, just whatever you can think of. I'm willing to give it a try. So I buy a lot of cross stitches these days from the Fairy brand, and I've been getting them at the website dreamstitch.top. Well, Fairy brand reached out to me and let me know that they have their own shop with all of their designs available, not just a selection of them. And they offered me a cross stitch to review, as well as a couple other goodies. I think they put some information about the company in there. But I said, sure, I'll give it a shot. So Fairy brand is a higher end stamp cross stitch company, although if you look on their website, they sell fabric and they sell counted cross stitch and accessories, including a lot of frames and other things, and just really cool stuff. But part of the reason I like the Fairy brand is because of the plastic holders for the threads, and also the high number of colors and the high quality of printing. So when they reached out to me, I was really excited because I love their brand, and I bought several really large ones, but I didn't know till I went to their website that they offer several smaller ones as well, even some as low as $1 or $2. So if you'd like to give Painting Fairy cross stitch a try, you might check out my links below. I do have an affiliate link that'll get you a discount, and you can try some of the smaller kits that are available there and see what you think. So we're going to take a look at what we got here. I picked this one out, and the way their affiliate program worked is they let me pick something out, and I paid for the shipping and tariffs, which was a pretty good deal. So the one I have in here, I think, is about $40 for this kit. So I paid just the shipping and tariffs. So let's see what you got here. So I did open up the outer box to make sure that something was in there. And indeed, we do have the beautiful Painting Fairy cross stitch box here. Love how the boxes look. They have that unique blue-green color with the roses and flowers on them. And they have so many different designs, lots of animals, lots of plants and flowers, a lot of things that really appeal to me, as well as the giant ones. This is Fairy brand is the brand for my giant Pokemon one. They have several of the Pokemon generations on there, some anime art, and just all sorts of things out there. But I do like that they now offer kits that are only a few dollars if you wanted to try them out. So one of the things I do like about the Fairy brand is the quality of the floss. So it is very good floss. And they have a few different kinds of floss that they make available, but we'll open this up because I think there's more information about that in here. So let's see what you got here. So a very good box for shipping. And we have, oh, an extra couple. Interesting. Okay, I did not pick those out. Ooh. Okay, I'm excited. I expected it to be just the cross stitch I picked out, but there's more in here. Cool. I'm excited. I'm so glad I decided to do this video today. I was feeling a little unmotivated today and having trouble getting going, and I thought, well, this showed up today. This will be a fun one to do. Let me clear the table here. So we do have a couple of pieces of paper here with information on Painting Fairy cross stitch, 482 colors. So they do have the extra DMC equivalents. They have they will continue to get new colors, sufficient light, long fiber length. So that keeps the fuzz away if you get the longer fibers. Good wear resistance, Italian singeing, and mercerized process. Good brightness, soft feel, and good toughness. So this is about the thread here. And you have your cleaning instructions here for the cross stitch fabric, for how to get the ink out. And you have it in Chinese as well. But this is the one that I wanted to show because I am on their website now and they show a lot of their factory pictures and process. So if you ever wondered how the Fairy brand cross stitches are made, this is more about the threads here, but their Facebook page shows lots of videos of them making them and testing them and all that. So it's really neat to check it out. So this shows how the threads are made and lots more information about the safety. Computer color measurement. I always wondered how they got the exact colors for diamond painting drills and all that from, I guess it works kind of like when you take a paint chip into the hardware store to match the color. So long staple cotton produced in Egypt has better quality, longer, softer fiber, better breathability, better tensile strength, and better color fastness. So, Egyptian long staple cotton. We also got some accessories here. Ooh, and I have a pack of these, so this will be nice to have another one here because I do like their needles. They go through the fabric really well. So excited here. These are 26. There it is, size 26. So they are the slightly smaller needles that I prefer because even on 11 count I have some trouble poking through if there are several stitches already in the holes. So I prefer using the smaller needles for everything. Okay, so we've got these. These are very important for those of us that do high color counts with parking method, where you work a few stitches in a color and then move it off to the side till you're ready to use it again. So these are little bobbins. You wind the threads around them and then you can fold it over to hold them until you're ready to use those threads again. So really easy to use, really, really useful. So I love having these, and you can buy them in packs. And then we have some finger guards. I'm not a big fan of them. These are a little bit small, but they do have holes in there to help your fingers breathe and all that. I do have several, but I almost find it easier to just poke my fingers. So got finger guards here. And then of course the all-important scissors. So these look like really sharp, really small embroidery scissors. Oh, they had a plastic cover, but I pulled it off when I pulled the scissors out. So there was a plastic cover guard, but look at the point on those. So very, very nice point. And they do have a very slight curve, which means you can get these scissors right up against the fabric to cut so you don't have little threads hanging out. So we'll give these a try, but they look really, really nice with that curve. And the teeny tiny points let you just get in there and get just the stitch or thread that you need to cut. So very, very nice. Now this looks like hand-dyed cross-stitch fabric. So this is an Aida cloth. Looks like maybe 16 count, I would guess. Let's see. Oh, it's a 40 by 50 piece too. So I want to open this and look, because I bet I can find something to use this on. And I was kind of curious about their fabrics. Oh wow, look at that. Beautiful hand-dyed fabric there, or dyed somehow. I'm not sure what their process is, but I love the colors on this. This would be really good for one of the fairies or mermaids with that really, really pretty background. So it feels really soft. It's not stamped, so it doesn't have all that starch in it to be able to print on it. And it does look like about 16 count there. Really, really soft, and it is already serged, so this will be fun to play with. I wasn't expecting this at all, and now my mind is racing trying to figure out, what am I going to put on this? I'll have to look. Beautiful. So if you're looking for other options for this kind of dyed fabric, check out Painting Fairy, because that's a nice piece of fabric. I'm going to have to put that back in the bag to keep it safe. But I sense a mermaid coming. Then we do have a couple of the smaller kits here that I was seeing and talking about. Really, really cool. So if you want to try out Fairy Brand but don't want to spend too much money, then let's start with the Llama. This one is cute and nice and small, and I've been loving the small ones lately. I work on small ones in between my giant ones because my giant ones, I stitch and stitch and never seem to get anywhere. So it's always nice to have a smaller one in the mix to have a finish here and there. So this is serged, and notice the big amount of space you have around the design. Now this one is just slightly offset, but that's still a good, once you wash this and get the grids, that's a good 2.5 inches on that side. So they put a lot of space around so that you have several options on how you want to finish this. But this is a 14 count design there, and you can get a close-up here hopefully and see how the printing looks. It's a little bit lighter than, say, Joy Sunday or Spring Brand, but they use enough different symbols that I haven't had any trouble telling them apart. So we got the blue and the green slashes all through here, and then the circles and some of the colored in areas. So it looks really clear to me. Now this is a stitch count, it looks like 50 by 70 there, or pretty close to that. So let's take a look at what we get here with the pattern. So this looks a little bit closer to what you may be useful for patterns in the US. So you have the X here showing that these are all full cross and all the colors here. So we got 39 colors of full cross here with the symbols, and several of them down here at the bottom are blends. So it looks like 4 of them are blends where you need 1 of each strand there. And then for half stitches, it shows you the symbol there and the colors for the half stitches. Then we got 1 French knot there. That's a color 3865, probably the eye. And then these different colors for back stitch here. So really clear chart there on what is what. That's more typical of some of the dimensions and other kits that I have done. So I'm not going to show the full chart here for obvious reasons, but look how nice and large that chart is. So we see all the back stitching on it, but boy, those symbols are large. So that's really going to help me out. That's amazing. Wow, I'm impressed by that. Here's another look. Okay, the French knots are actually in the cactus. That's kind of cool. So really, really nice chart. And this is a really nice paper as well. Wow, I'm excited. So not a whole lot. Oh, they still have the ribbon. So I'm used to the bigger kits that have everything tied together in a ribbon, but they do this to keep the floss from tangling up. So I'm going to leave the ribbon there for now because I think we can see all the colors here. But one of the things I was curious about, okay, they do not make the blends for you. So for example, one of the blends here is color 36 is 739 and 738. So there is no like number 36. So what you do is go to these DMC numbers, which is how they put them on the card. So they're not putting the 1 through whatever, they're putting just the DMC numbers. So that way you can make the blends yourself for as much as you need. So if you only have a few stitches, you don't want to use an entire piece of floss. You just cut a little section is how I do it. So 738, 739, so you would just go here and take, depending on the number of stitches, just take a little bit of each color, maybe a quarter of a strand or a half a strand, and put them together. So that's the floss. We've got 3 different shades of purple, a little bit of black, lots of reds there, and browns, some grays, and some greens, pinks, and off-white and white. So let's look at the picture one more time here. Yeah, that's really cute. So we've got the cactus there, the little design of the whatever you call that. I'm not real sure, but it looks like it is a sheep or a llama. I was thinking llama at first because of the style here. And he's got Christmas hat on, and the cactus is decorated with Christmas balls there. It's kind of a red and green, a Christmas theme here. But to me that looks like a sheep, not a llama. So I think he's a sheep. But you can see the half stitches down here. And that may be all of the half stitches. So pretty easy design. And this is one of the ones that is also very budget friendly, but still with the same high quality of floss and instructions. Love that big chart. So that's our first one. And here we have a very confused duck. And he looks almost like Psyduck from Pokemon. But I can see, looking at it, we've got some back stitching here. Don't see any French knots. I do see some of the half stitches there for the ground. And definitely lots of back stitching on there. So let's take a look at this one and see what we got. This is cool. So this one's got a nice big background here. Lots of extra fabric for allowing you to finish it however you want. But we've got the printing here again. It's nice and light, but not too light. So I can see it, but it's not going to be overwhelming when you stitch. Sometimes you see that ink showing through a little bit as you're stitching, and you wonder if the colors are right or if they're going to turn out. But because this ink is lighter, it doesn't show through the threads. I mean, when you wash it, it's all gone. But sometimes in the process of stitching, the printing can alter the look of it and make you wonder if it's going to look good or not. So that makes it actually really nice when it's lightly printed, but still enough to see, so it's not overwhelming to your eyes. So that'll be a nice quick stitch. I could probably do this in a day or two. I say that, but there's a little bit of color changing in the center area here, but overall it doesn't look like it would take too long. So let's take a look here at our pattern. So we do have 22 total colors here. These are the cross stitch symbols there. We do have 3 blends, and we have 2 different colors of half stitches. Oh, we have a quarter stitch. Wonder where that's hiding, because that you don't see very often in printed cross stitch, but somewhere in there. Usually they're around the eyes, but not completely sure where that would be. It's used a lot for shaping, but it's hiding in there somewhere. Probably easier to see on the chart. So then we have 5 colors of back stitch and 310 French knot, which I think is in the eye because I see the dots printed on there. Yes. So the eyes there each have a French knot, and I could tell because I saw this little dot here. So the French knot locations are actually shown there with the little black dots. Let's check out this quarter stitch though. I'm curious. Ah, I see him. Okay. There in the question mark. So it shows just a little corner there with the symbol on it instead of the entire stitch covered, and then the back stitch goes across that way. So that just gives a little more definition and detail, especially for the background. There are those question marks because you don't want the yellow to show on the other side of your back stitching. So quarter stitches are really nice. You can add them in if they're not in your design, just by, if you see a spot like that where you have a back stitch going across and it moves on to other things, you can yourself just do a quarter stitch even if it's not in the pattern. So really, really nice clear pattern again. Don't want to show it all. And we've got our floss card here. Not as many colors, so not as much to worry about, but we still have our nice little ribbon. And I would check these out. I will put the prices and links for these below, but I think this one may be like $3 US, $3 or $4 US, maybe even cheaper. But they do have several small ones that are worth checking out and giving a try before you invest in one of the bigger ones. But the bigger ones, for me, that's where it's at. So I might do another video here to do a stitch with me on probably this one, maybe. I'll put both of these aside. I won't put them back in the packaging quite yet, but we'll do a stitch with me by some of those. But this is the big kit. This is the one I really wanted to see. And again, this large size kit here, which they don't put the size on the outside, this one was less than $40 US. So let's see if the size shows up there. 329 stitches by 503. So this is even bigger than I thought. But it is a partial instead of a full coverage, meaning the background is not done. So even though it's a large size, it is very affordable because it takes just a little bit less thread to do that. So we do have a pack of needles here, some more nice needles, and another pack of needles there. Ended up with 2 in this one. So we have our pattern book here, and the cover is laying flat, which is nice because they sometimes have rolled upward, but it looks like they're trying to figure out how to solve that. And we do have a little packet here. They put these in them to keep them dry because you don't want to get these damp or humid, and they're scented packets. So this one is jasmine. Yes. So it gives just a very light floral scent to your packaging. Not very strong though. So if you have issues with scents, I don't think it will be a problem because it's a pretty light scent. So we have Painting Fairy cross stitch here. And with the larger ones, one of the things that I really love about their patterns is that they put all the symbols of the same shape together like this. So you can easily tell, is that a blue or a green? Well, you can see it here compared to each other, and you can get a little easier idea of whether the symbol you're looking at on the canvas, especially if it's not near the other symbol of that same type. This just lets you see a little bit easier. I love this part. So I'll keep this with me instead of the regular legend on the canvas, and I will stitch using this as my key. So I love, love, love this. But I can see we have lots of blends on this one and lots of colors. And because I see a 118 there. So, and their website, they do list more details about each canvas and the number of colors and all that. But look at this, 2 pages here. Just that. Then we have the regular key, which is a little bit closer to the other one, although it doesn't show like the half stitching and the back stitching in quite the same way. But this one probably does not have those. So let's take a look here. And another page. So 119 is the total number of colors there. Of course, some of them are blends, so we may not have 119 completely different DMC colors, but we do have 119 different colors on this cross stitch. So, ooh, I see confetti already. Look at that. So this looks like kind of the top edge here. So we do not stitch the background. That's nice. That'll make it go a little bit faster. But this is part of the stem of the roses, and there is one of the flowers. Let me see. Oh, beautiful. Maybe I'll show some of this. That's a lot more obvious of what it is. So we have a flower bud here, but definitely lots and lots of confetti. So this is a more challenging piece. They have different levels of confetti and different types of designs. So if that scares you, it's not all that they have. But I do not see any back stitches or specialty stitches or anything because this is a large one. So it doesn't need those extra stitches to make all the details. So very, very nice pattern here. And it is in a nice book held together. So let's move on to more needles. Save the thread for last. But look at how large this one is. It's a lot bigger than I was expecting because I thought for the price range it would not be that big. But we'll just start here at the top. And you can see that the symbols here match exactly with the symbols that are in the book. But definitely lots of confetti. But I like that this is a partial, so not worried about the background at all. And again, all this ink will wash off when you're done, so you don't have to worry about these grid lines being in your way or anything. But this one will be a little bit easier to do, I think, because you can just take one flower at a time, kind of work your way down, finish that one, and then go to this one, and then go to the background rows there. But there's a lot of, in diamond painting world, we call it multi-placing, but I guess in cross stitch it's, I don't know what the term is, block stitching maybe, where you have large blocks of a single color. So these larger rows, as you can see, there's only a few colors there. I see a blue, a red, and a green line going that way, so only 3 colors here. So that's an easy stitch area. If you're not feeling like you want to do a lot of detailed stitching, then you can work on this area. And then if you're in for a little bit more of a challenge, you can work on some of the confetti spots here. So I do like the combination, that's the word I'm looking for, the combination of both confetti stitching as well as block areas. So let's keep looking here. This is definitely bigger than I thought it was. I'm gonna have to zoom out. I thought maybe it would actually fit on the table. Silly me. I'm not sure why I thought that. But you do have the key here on the side with the symbol here and what color to expect. So that's another thing that's really helpful. If you see a symbol and you're not sure, let me find like 2 of the same here. That might be tougher to do because they all look so different. Like the T, I know there are a few different T's. We saw that in the book. So that's red, that's pretty obvious, but it'll show you it's actually supposed to be an off-white color. So if you read the key wrong, you can kind of confirm that you got the right color based on that. So we've got the color it should be, the symbol, and then the DMC number. And this key is very large and very long here. If you're working on this like on a frame or something, you might have a little bit harder time reading the key. So that's why I prefer the book. And that's why I love those first couple of pages in the book. And I just keep these pages by me and I can see what color is what with just a quick glance. So I love having the book. Okay, shall we keep going? Oh. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. This is definitely bigger than I thought, and for a really nice price too, because that was the one thing that I hesitated on a couple of mine was the cost. But with this being a partial, it's a little bit more affordable, but it's still huge. I was trying to see. They really don't list the exact size. I mean, you can calculate it, but I don't see, it's probably at the top there and I just missed it. But very, very clear. A lot of areas that aren't too difficult there. It's really, it looks like the blooms and some of these areas in between the flowers. The little buds, that's the word I'm looking for, not the blooms, the buds. Get this a little more manageable now that we've seen it there. So it's mostly the buds that have the real confetti, but all the bigger flowers have a lot of stitch blocking areas. So back to the size here. So I see the stitch count there, but I'm not really sure about the size. So this is 14 count, so you can just divide those numbers by 14, the 329 by 503 to figure out the size on that. So not a big deal. I'm just kind of curious. Okay, now the fun part. Let's look at the colors. I mean, it's all fun. This is like a Christmas present. But these larger ones, even these ones that are less than $100 here, less than $50 I should say, they come with the hard plastic floss holders. So let's take a look here. So we've got 119 different colors and blends. And they are mostly reds and pinks. Beautiful, beautiful colors here. But Fairy always ties off their floss so it doesn't get mixed up. And we have a lot of extra of this color. So color here, 3072, there's a lot of it in that cross stitch. Let's see. So yeah, I get that all around the outer areas here. There's going to be a lot of that color. But I love the Victorian type colors, as I would call it. The all the pinks and the reds and the grays, and beautiful, beautiful. So this one is numbered by DMC, and what you'll notice here is that they do use the newer DMC numbers. So most diamond paintings and most of the stamp cross stitches don't start until the 150s, but you see this DMC does have some lower numbers in their colors, so they're keeping up with all the newest colors being put out. So this actually, number 1 here is not the first color, it is color number 1, DMC number 1. So we have 1 through 6, and then DMC 10, which is a yellow, and then we go into the older DMC numbers for the colors that have been around for a while. Look at all those reds. And then over here we have the peaches and the pinks and the greens, kind of a dusty green I call it, some grays. Beautiful, beautiful colors here. And the floss just feels different from some of the other kits. Let's take a closer look here at the floss. And yes, I have ink on my fingers. I've been messing with resin again. Just ignore that part. But really, really high twist. It's not like fraying on the ends. So it looks like it'll be easy to separate, but those ends look really nice and sharp. They're not like already fraying. So when you have the longer, the longer strands in there, it keeps it from getting all frayed. So let's see, what color were we on? There's some oranges in there and more grays. There's some blues. There's going to be a lot of colors in that background. So more than you would think there just by looking at the picture, but definitely lots of colors here all the way to 3863. And what's even cooler about this is when you do finish one of these kits, you have floss cards that you can reuse. So they do have the brand on there. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can get it in the light across my ring light there. Painting Fairy. So I was just calling them Fairy brand because that's what the box says, but they are Painting Fairy is the full name, and they do have their own website. And I recommend, if you want to try one of these higher end stamp cross stitches, that you check out their website, because they do have a lot more than some of the other stores that offer their brands, because they have the full range, and it's really cool to see their videos and watch how they make these, because I've always been curious about that, how much labor is involved with cutting the threads and organizing them and all that. So awesome, awesome. So thank you, Painting Fairy. I'm going to have to get started on one of these, but I will save one of them for a video probably later this week. I think the little sheep here with the, or whatever animal he is, I'll have to look him up on the website because his neck does look a little bit long, but we'll have to see. What, to me, it's just sheep or llama, one of the two. But anyway, he is plant or garden themed there with his little cactus, and we are in the middle of the plant and garden event, so that would actually fit with it. So that may be part of next Thursday's videos, a little stitch and chat with that kit. So of course this fits the theme as well, but it's just so large. And they have approached me about their frames, and I'm kind of torn on that because I do have some really big, really nice aluminum frames, but I work in hand typically. The trouble with a big frame, even though they're aluminum and not real heavy, the trouble with the big frame is, how do you sit on the couch or a recliner and use that frame. So they make frame stands that you can put them on, but I don't typically sit at a stand and work on my cross stitch. I prefer to kind of chill on the couch. So I'm not sure. I may try one of their smaller ones. They have one that's 50 centimeters for some of my smaller kits. They have them going to 50, 100, and 150. And when I was looking last night, they even have one they claim can hold the giant Pokemon cross stitch. So it's tempting because that one it's like a blanket. It's so hard to work with at times. But we'll see about that. But one last look here at the beautiful printing. Love it, love it, love it. So this is Painting Fairy brand, higher end cross stitch with really nice threads, and I got all these extra goodies here as well, and the scissors, and lots of needles, and even our little jasmine smelly thing there. But they show all the different range of colors and everything, and talk about the thread there and the free goodies here. So you can get smaller kits. And then I'm really excited about this too, the fabric. So thank you, Painting Fairy. I will put the link below. I do have a discount code. So if you are wanting to try one of these, please think about using my discount code below, because that does show them that you are watching the videos, and it is drawing people to the website, which helps me out, helps them out, helps everybody out. So love the fabric. So I'm gonna get going on some of this and think about what to do with this. So I'll be back with updates soon. Thank you for watching.